What's up guys, this is What Does Gaming, your channel for fresh Arena Valor content. Lately we had a short discussion about Jinnar and how good he might be in the current meta. If you remember, Jinnar was one, if not the strongest mages a couple of months ago when he was basically getting all his life back because his passive was just way too strong, and Teamy reacted to that and nerfed his passive quite a lot, because nowadays you can't see full healing Jinnars anymore on the battlefield. That said, I can't really tell where his power level is at the moment, and therefore, because I was playing with one of my mates lately, I thought it might just be the best to give it a go, put him on the battlefield and just see for myself how good or bad he might perform at the moment. To do so, I want to share my build with you, as I always do at the beginning of the video, and as you can see, we are going towards a more melee or close ranged oriented build. We've got Barriers Agony in here, we've got the Frost Guard as well, so we've got two items that are focusing on getting a little bit closer to the enemies. We've got the Tome of the Reaper because a lot of healing is going on at the moment in the meta. And then we are using the Diadem, and we have to use Rhea's Blessing to get more life back because, as I said, they nerfed his passive quite significantly. So this is the build layout, and because we are going full damage, otherwise I've taken my mage damage outlay in the Arcana section. As you can see, we get ability power, magic pierce, magic lifesteal and cooldown reduction, and that comes from 10 times Violate, 10 times Devour, and 10 times Hex. That I do take over Flurry because I want that 7% of cooldown reduction right from the start. Enchantment wise, I decided to use play around the ultimate because it's basically the strongest asset that you have in your toolkit. It's a really powerful ult, and you are always quite happy as soon as you can use it again, and the rest of the Lockheim line is tweaked around damage as well. So we've got Raging Inferno as well as the Deadly Claw, and then we're using the Mark of the Frost and Gunslinger. Mark of the Frost is a enchantment that's actually super useful for him, because you will find yourself in close combat. If you use your ult, you have to get really close to the enemies, and sometimes it's just a little bit too much. You are basically going too aggressive, and then you just press this little tiny nice button and you are safe for about 2 seconds or something. Grants immunity. Okay, whatever. It's not stated here, but you get 1 or 2 seconds where you are not touched or harmed by any enemy damage. So that's the build, and I would say that true testing is with some gameplay that I've got for you, and we're going to take a closer look on that right now. Welcome to the battlefield. Alright, let's talk about the team composition as first, shall we? So I would say we've got a pretty mediocre, if not below decent build. We've got Rook in the jungle, who is always a little bit questionable, not because of the champion himself, but because of the alternatives that you are missing if you take something like Rook and not something like AoV or any of the other crazy junglers that do exist in the current meta. So not the best choice, I would say, but we need to see for ourselves, because of course the player's skill level is something that is really important if you want to find out if it's a good or a decent or a bad choice. On the dual lane, we've got Gildur and Valheim, so both are, I would say, decent, but of course not the best picks. And then we've got Elaine, who is one of the best solo laners in the game right now. He has been strong during the last patches ever since he was released, so that is a force to be reckoned with. And as I already said, like Jinnar, I don't know, it's a decent hero. I really enjoy playing him because I like his kind of playstyle, but we need to see for ourselves if that is really going to work out the way we planned it, and the plan is always winning, of course. On the opposing side, we've got a really strong team composition, at least in my point of view. We've got Liliana against me on the mage lane, a really strong and versatile champion who's able to dish out tremendous amounts of damage in melee and who's able to poke us down with a lot of crazy effects coming from her sorceress skills that she is throwing through the air with her parachute. That's not a parachute. It's the name for it. Forgotten it. My English is just not working at midnight. So yeah, here we go. Let's see if I will find my words or my vocabulary afterwards. I decided to go in here, which is basically the most stupid idea that you can have ever. That was really poorly executed. I don't know what pushed me to do something like that. I thought it might have a decent effect, but in fact it was just plain stupid, and I can't put it in any more mild way. So yes, just forget about that. We are going to see if the games are getting better or whatever. So I wanted to talk about the team composition. We've got Omen on the top lane. I would say that's pretty even. Like, Omen is also a strong choice and also a really good split pusher that is able to just push a lane by himself if he is unattended. So you really need to keep an eye on him in order to stop him from destroying your towers. So he needs to be occupied, and it's really important to always put pressure on Omen so that he cannot get too much farm or cannot get too much kills, because then it's going to be a really bad day or a bad game for you in the end. We've got Elsu and Aya on the bottom lane. I would say both are strong choices, but not if Aya sticks to Elsu, because what Elsu wants is more range, more view range, so that his snipe is getting more powerful. And Aya, of course, is a champion that is really clinging, attaching herself to the champion that she's with. So it's basically completely contrary to what Elsu's game plan is. But of course, Aya is a strong champion if she is running around with a good, decent, for example, solo laner like Omen. And I would say the matchup from the enemies is better. Butterfly is a strong choice indeed, but I've seen a lot of butterflies in the last matches when I was playing in ranked matches. I had really crazy butterflies there, and I had, unfortunately, in my team, really bad butterflies. You're going to see a Toulon game in one of the next videos where I was doing good, but unfortunately the jungler wasn't. So that was a little bit of a shame. But yeah, I would say we're playing an uphill battle against the enemy team, and you can't help it. In this particular scene, I thought that I would be able to outrun the spell effect. I'm calling it the Bijou Bomb because it's so close to the Naruto lore. What she does there, she's transforming herself into a fox, and then she's firing some spirit energy out that's going to follow people around, and it's going to inflict tremendous amounts of damage. So that's a Naruto reference that you have to make every single time. It's just, there's just no way around it. It's Naruto, it's the QB, and that is what this is all about. And I thought it was like that, at least before, that you were able to outrun it, but unfortunately that does not seem to be the case anymore. So you guys need to be careful on the battlefield, because it's dealing a lot of damage. I was low here, so of course it killed me, but even with full health, you are going to have the effect on you, and you feel it. It's really something that is actually quite powerful. So Jinnar, from his concept, is a character, as I said, who wants to play up close. That is, of course, not the best playstyle against champions such as Liliana, who's able to turn into fox form, and then she's just scratching you down in melee. And of course Butterfly, who is really tanky nowadays since the update with the shield. So you need to be super careful on when you are picking your fights and when you are trying to avoid it and just poking with your S1, because otherwise you will get killed immediately at the beginning of the team fight. So my advice would be to rather wait a little bit, then pop ult. So you're going to use your first and your second ability, and then you're going to pop ult, get the benefits from Devil's Awakening, and then you can perform your sequence again while you are in ult state, which is even better because then you can use your S2 again to slow enemies down that are standing close to you. Because of the life gain that Liliana will have later on in the game, I decided to go for Tome of the Reaper immediately after I built the first couple of items here. And so far it's basically just utility that I built on my champion, and I think that we will get some nice damage increase as soon as we can buy the diadem, because that's given us a hefty 35% boost on all of our ability power. So this is really going to make me better because I can deal more damage in short amounts of time, which means I will stay a little bit better alive within the team fights. So as you can see, Elaine is playing the game of his life. He's done so good this game. He's carrying us with 10 kills already. And so as you can see, it's 17 versus 7 right now. I'm playing a normal game, like a decent game for myself, with 2 kills, 2 deaths, nothing to write home about, but nothing to be ashamed of, so everything works according to plan. We are supporting our team, trying to get some damage in, and then afterwards we try to escape and at least be alive with a couple of hit points without having too much of a problem escaping, because we used Flicker here as a talent. So that kill is not going into Elaine's account, but RoV is securing that kill for himself. Of course, that's important as well, because you want some kills on your jungler, especially with RoV, because you want to be a little bit ahead and be more tanky, because it's what he is all about. Like, he's a close combat fighter, such as Jinnar is. So here's another ultimate on Elsu. I didn't want to stay in the tower range to deal with Arya, because that would have meant that unfortunately I would die. As you might have seen, the tower was already focusing me, so I decided to just leave the tower by himself and get away to safety. Trying to steal blue buff here. Don't know if Liliana is going to make it, so that's a little bit risky, but high risk, high return, that's what they say in business classes, and yep, that worked out fine. So we've got blue buff right now. That means we can use our abilities a little bit faster and do get some life back. I thought about fighting Elsu here, but his range and his damage is just superior to mine, especially on the longer ranges with the backup of the tower. So I said to myself, that might just be a good time to go home, replenish my health, and get back with full health into the fights. And unfortunately, the team of the enemies has secured the Slayer, and they have popped it. So we have a threat that we have to deal with right now, and there seems to be a team fight going off in the middle lane. And as you can see, we're splitting up a little bit. I do get a kill here. That's actually quite nice. So I'm trying to zone Elsu here so that my team can deal with the Slayer. That worked out fine. So the Slayer is gone. We don't have to think about that anymore. So we can focus on the team fights. Elsu is defending that tower, handing out really painful snipe shots. And that just means that we're going back to lane to initiate a push. Wave clear is not the best, but it's far from being bad. But you have to just keep in mind that you are not the wave clearer. So there's Elsu approaching us, and I was thinking if I might be able to fight him. And I just wanted to see for myself if it's possible and we can fight him. But wow, that was another high risk, high reward gameplay. And it paid off. In the end, it paid off. Elsu was able to escape using his ultimate, jumping back towards his tower. But because we had Flicker ready, we haven't used it yet. I was able to do a follow-up Flicker kill. So another threat that we would have to deal with is eliminated, and now Elaine is just unleashing his full potential, and it's basically it's basically a tragedy, at least for the enemy team, not for our team. So another time for another ult. Aya is set back to her squirrel state. The word that I was looking for was umbrella. Liliana is using her umbrella to dish out her magic stuff. She is handing them or like throwing them around with her umbrella. It's of course not a parachute. A parachute is something that you need if you are jumping off a plane. And I would say jumping off planes, this is something that the enemy team might consider after this match, because Arena of Valor, at least in this game, is not their game. It was ours because Elaine carried us. It was really fun to play with him. Great job. 36.4% of the total damage of the team is going to this gold medal warrior. Excellent game. Thanks so much for playing with you. And yeah, I would say 8.9. That's something that I'm completely fine with. Third place in the team ranking. You've seen the build. Let's see. Okay, that was mediocre. 20% damage, around 15% damage taken. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you liked it, a thumbs up would highly be appreciated. And I'm always happy over new subscribers. So if you are not subscribing this channel yet, you might reconsider, because there are every other day videos on this channel, and we need to have these videos because not many players are doing AoV videos these times, which is a bummer because the game is still quite fun to play. Next video will be the tier list in German. That's going to be released in 2 days. Hope to see you guys there. Have a pleasant and wonderful evening, and bye bye.